Hello. Many thanks for giving me the opportunity to address you today. I'm recording this video in Ireland, which is also locked down at present. Like you, however, I hope that the schools and colleges will open once more within the next few weeks. As the subject of my presentation is the role of technology in education and the lessons we have learned over the past few weeks, I decided to use that technology rather than simply to talk about it. The translations you see on screen have been generated by a free online translation tool, and the subtitles you see at the bottom of the screen are generated as I speak within PowerPoint. No doubt this will not be 100% accurate, but bear in mind that it is being produced as I speak and is free to anyone who has an up-to-date copy of PowerPoint. I'm a member of the governing board of the UNESCO Institute for Information Technologies in Education and the vice president of a technology solutions company. But I'm also the father of 6 children who have been my very own control group. At one time, I have had children in kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, and university. In my 30 years working in international education, I have had the opportunity to visit classrooms across the world and to observe how technology has been used by teachers and by students, both within those classrooms and also in homes and other locations. Sometimes that has involved very low-cost devices and services, where access to connectivity and power has been a real challenge. And I've seen how technology has been utilised by students of all ages, among 18-year-olds and 8-year-olds, in public education systems, and also in small private schools, including schools dealing with children who have significant physical, emotional, or intellectual challenges. Right now, most of those classrooms are empty, but learning is still taking place. What the present crisis has taught us is that it is possible for many students to access learning even when the doors of the school are closed. The past weeks have seen an explosion in the use of video conferencing and related technologies, and, perhaps more excitingly, increasing experimentation with new forms of pedagogy, such as the flipped classroom. When the students cannot come to school, it appears that it is possible for the school to come to them. For an estimated 15% of all students, however, this is nothing new. We already have large numbers of students who are unable to access a physical school on a daily basis. For them, technology has long acted as a lifeline, connecting them to education services and also to their peers. What seems clear right now is that there will be no returning to normal. Even if we survive this pandemic, we cannot allow ourselves to be unprepared for the next one. And perhaps this is the ideal time to ask, what have we learned? The first thing we have learned is that there cannot be equity of access to education if there is not access to some form of technology device. Without access to a device and to some form of internet service, huge numbers of students can become disenfranchised. They can be left behind and potentially may never recover. But what we have also learned is that virtually everyone has access to some kind of device. There are more mobile phones on the planet than there are people. The challenge may not be to deliver more high-end devices to learners, but to ensure that high-end services are capable of being accessed on devices of all kinds. We have learned that it is possible to learn at any time and in any place. Work became mobile almost 2 decades ago. How many of us still use a desktop rather than a laptop computer? And how many of us were able to do our jobs just as efficiently from home as from our work offices? But education is only beginning to free itself from the imagined confines of time and of place. We have also learned that the single biggest driver of change will be our teachers. We have all seen the dedication and innovation shown by our teachers in these most difficult times. The idea that they are reluctant to embrace technology, or that they are the barrier to new ways of teaching and learning, has been shown to be a lie. They are eager to embrace the promise that technology holds, for them as educators and for their students. But to do so, they need to be provided with the skills and the support that they will require. Some of what we have learned has been surprising. We discovered, for example, that far from being an anti-social activity, gaming and social media have proved to be the way that students stayed in touch with their peers and maintained vital relationships. My own children, who were denied the opportunity to meet up with their friends, were chatting with them for several hours each day via Xbox Live, creating things together on TikTok, smiling and laughing with each other through the video cameras on their slates and phones, and holding quizzes and virtual house parties online. But we were also reminded of the importance of elements of the curriculum that have been in real danger of being disregarded or ignored. School budgets for the arts, for drama and music, and for minority sports have been falling for years. It took a crisis to remind us that children need to move, to exercise, to practice self-expression, and to stretch themselves physically, emotionally, and creatively, as well as academically. So, on the assumption that our schools reopen and we learn from what has happened over the past few weeks, what next? Where will the next revolution in education technology take place? The answer is that that revolution is already taking place. We simply haven't been using the tools that were already at our disposal. Consider for a moment how many of our classrooms could utilize a technology such as this to provide a live transcript of what the teacher is saying for students with hearing or auditory processing difficulties. Look at the ways in which communications between teachers, students and parents have changed, whether that's through increased use of text or email or dedicated social media groups, or by children signing up to online services such as Edmodo, where their teachers can set them challenges and monitor their performance remotely, or the subtle ways in which pedagogy has shifted, both in terms of the delivery and the assessment of learning, and a bigger change has yet to come. The next revolution in the use of information technology will be led by data and artificial intelligence. But I want to take a moment to demystify those terms, and they have come to mean everything and nothing in relation to teaching and learning. Artificial intelligence in an educational context means the ability to collect, collate, and to interrogate data in order to generate insights. Maybe the best way to understand AI in this context is to see it less as artificial intelligence and more as augmented intelligence. The dream of education is to create truly personalized learning pathways for students. Learning pathways which are tailored exactly to their individual needs, that take note of their strengths and weaknesses, identify and even predict the places where they will struggle or may need additional help, and which allow them the same opportunity to progress, to achieve, and to thrive as every other student in their class. But to achieve this, look at the range of data we are trying to collect. We want to talk about resilience, about socialization, not just students' grades or assessments of their academic performance. And we want to be able to capture this information in real time, because knowing that a child struggled in the past does not allow us to make the changes they need to get back on track. As an educator, being able to measure all of these things is difficult, even if you know the student well. But what about a whole class of students? The average primary school teacher will have between 25 and 35 children to monitor and to assess. And a secondary school teacher may be teaching classes of students across 6 different age groups. And consider the challenge for a head of faculty or a school principal. And being able to create individual learning pathways for each student is not just about being able to collect and interrogate data. This is not an issue we're going to solve with data alone. We're going to need the power of artificial intelligence to make the connections between many different data sources to arrive at those insights. And the good news is that we can do this right now. There are already data, AI, and analytics solutions available which can provide educators, administrators, and school counselors with the insights they need to make timely interventions and to get students back on track before they get left behind, or, as so often happens, they drop out of school or college altogether. This is not the future of intelligence. This is the present. We will see other exciting uses of technology develop in the coming year or two. We have yet to explore the full range of possibilities offered by virtual reality and augmented reality. Although again, there are already remarkable things being done with these technologies in areas like education and in medicine. If there is one lesson, therefore, that we can learn from the pandemic, it is this: we should not wait. We should not wait until technology becomes a necessity before we use it. By utilizing the power of technology, we can help educators and students to teach and to learn in new and more effective ways. We owe it to them to make sure we do not return to things as they were before in order to guarantee our children a better future. Thank you for your time and your attention, and for giving me the opportunity to address you. In the last few minutes, I hope we have already demonstrated that it is possible to share learnings with each other without the old barriers of time and space. This video was recorded in the past, and we are many thousands of kilometers apart right now. Most of you are accessing this presentation from your own homes. There is no reason for us to go back into the past when our children go back to school. Thank you.